All right, everybody, we are back. I wanted to talk about Nintendo. Mad Gamer here, and I have Cloudy about to pop off with his Nintendo expertise. You ready, Cloud?
Yeah, man.
All right. So first and foremost, I'll just be honest with you guys. I have grew up with Nintendo. It was one of my first consoles and one of the most played consoles when I was a kid. Literally the original ones. And as the years went on, I got a little older. I got appreciative of technology and new innovations. So I focus more on actual big things, which is, PlayStation 5 or even PC type of graphic games. But not just graphics, it's more so just the futuristic stuff. I kind of like anything that's innovative. And Nintendo has been one of the most innovative and one of the greatest, in my personal opinion. They're right there, like number one, number two, in all time greatest publishers, consoles, and that existed. But for me, I don't play as much. I'll borrow Cloudy's or my sister's Switch, somebody's Switch, and it'll collect dust after a little while because it's like not that much for me personally. But they have a big audience and it's a convenient tool to use as you travel. So now Cloudy's an owner, and I wanted him to give some thoughts. And we're playing some of the future content here that they have the Donkey Kong game. They just showed the Prince game. There's a bunch of other cool exclusive games that they have that I think are look amazing. It just is hasn't been my personal cup of tea unless I hang out with my niece and nephew and basically not forced to play because I don't mind playing them, but it's not something I'm personally looking out to grab. So just curious on Cloudy's experience and his expectations for 2024, and then the rumors about a possible new console. Maybe what does he want?
Yeah, so my whole thing with Nintendo is that I feel like they're in a good place as far as their lanes concerned, like the market that they're trying to tap into, and I feel like they did a really good job with that. Right now, Disney's like I get Disney, Nintendo's the Disney for video games, right? And they have
That's
a
a good way to
lot
put
of
it.
great first person exclusive content, right? So because they have a lot of exclusive content is what keeps them competitive, and I feel like Sony knows that. That's why they continue to invest so much in like these studios, and they end up having all these exclusives because they know that's what gives them the competitive edge, and that's what continues them keep people buying and supporting PlayStation, right, over time. The problem with Nintendo right now is that I wouldn't buy a Nintendo to play anything other than Nintendo games on their console, right? So I would just strictly buy it for the exclusive, right? The exclusivity with the Nintendo games. So like your Mario's, your Luigi's, your Zeldas, things like that. I will buy a Nintendo strictly for that because those are great games, and I feel like they continuously over time gotten better with creating games for those exclusives, right? But the problem that it becomes is like examples. So like Prince of Persia came out, and even though that's a game that you think like, oh, Nintendo should be able, their platform, the Switch should be able to handle that pretty well because it doesn't, it's almost the same kind of style that Nintendo kind of builds their games on, right? And you do lose a lot of graphic fidelity with going that route. That's the thing. So even so, I ended up buying, getting Prince of Persia for the PlayStation, and I wouldn't want to play it on a Nintendo Switch just because I lose that graphic fidelity when I'm
Yeah,
playing the
but can
game.
I just enjoy it while I'm on a plane, on a
Yeah,
bus,
exactly.
in
So
a
if you're
car?
gonna buy it for the strict for the mobility aspect, the portability aspect, of course, yes, Nintendo you should grab it for that because at least you'll be able to play it anywhere you want, and you'll be happy with that, right? But for me, and like I feel a lot of people usually, we like to game with the highest graphic as possible, as much as possible, right? So I wouldn't buy a game like that on a Nintendo console. That's just my take on it, and I feel like that hinders them as far as being able to tap into other markets because their console is not powerful enough to handle the graphics. And a lot of
Yeah.
times studios have to dumb them down in order for them to perform well on the Switch or on the console. So right now they're way overdue, due for a new console that's gonna be able to handle that a little bit better.
Can I pause you on that?
Yep.
What are we gonna do? Like, are you gonna tell them to make a 4K 120 frame console? All of a sudden now you can't take it anywhere. If you do take it anywhere, you got to bring a backpack to carry it in. And it's like, what are we doing? How do we
so
do that
it
on a handheld?
depends. It depends because they do have some handhelds. I think it's Lenovo that makes one. It's a couple, a couple companies a lot of companies are slowly starting to get into that market where they're trying to tap into portability. So you got a lot of PC portable consoles that are out, right? And PlayStation Portal being one of them, but it's not a standalone. You need Wi-Fi connection in order to tap in to remote play into your PlayStation, be able to play the game. So it's a little bit different with that. But we're talking about a standalone system. There's systems out there doing it now. The thing is,
Steam Deck does 4K.
Deck does it. Yeah, and there's another one. I think Lenovo was the other one, and they're pretty competitive too. But the thing is that people are finding it hard to gain some of that battery life back because Nintendo has pretty good battery compared to most of them, right? Almost all of them.
Yeah, but that they're running at 720 frames, but they better have battery.
No, exactly, of course, right? So the question isn't that if they can or can't do it. Its question is what are they willing to? What is it that they're sacrificing, and do they feel is worth the sacrifice, right? Because if there's a little bit of battery, you can always throw an accessory, and of course we all hate to have to buy extra accessories, but we kind of had to when we bought the Switch. We needed an extra SD card to be able to store our games on. Can
I pause that real quick? So for everybody listening, every week I get from a friend of mine he does like all these number thingies. He's really into all of it, and he keeps track of the sales. I'm talking about hardware sales, software sales for all the consoles, and Nintendo's number 2 almost all the time. And then once in a while, very few, they'll surpass PlayStation on hardware sales. And then, they're like right there. They'll beat them compared to Xbox that never beats them, right? But, well, not never, maybe once in a while, when right now Xbox Series S is on sale for $150, which is a steal. But it's like, okay, what are we playing? Like, why would I buy that, right? So it's a tough conversation. But with Nintendo, they're in the top of the thing. So what everything Cloudy's suggesting is like, where do you go from being the best, right, and having the best overall experience when it comes to we're second place at worst. That's a good thing. Why would we ruin that? So it's like I'm curious on what could happen and how good can the next iteration be compared to what is. And that's where Cloudy's trying to like get into some of these possibilities. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough.
I can see that. I can see them, right? I think technology moves at a very rapid pace. I feel like nowadays, you even got monitors coming out now that support OLED with no problem, right? And it's becoming a lot more easier to get your hands on stuff like that. Because technology advances very quickly. I can see them because this was years ago when they came out with this console. I can see them doing something where it's a lot more powerful, and I hope they come out with an iteration of the Switch because I love what they did with the Switch. But make it OLED, make it a lot more powerful to be able to run games, and not lose so much quality and the fidelity of your gaming experience. You know what I'm saying? And if they're able to do that, they'll be able to be a lot more competitive in the sense that you'll get guys like me who will say, you know what, I want to play that game. I'm gonna buy that on my Switch instead.
Yeah, because I want to go on a plane ride when I'm going to Vegas.
Plane ride, and this is a game because there's some games that is like I would love to just have it as mobile, and a lot of it is like RPG games or games that are long in story, right? So like Assassin's Creed Valhalla would have been a perfect one to have as well. Yeah. But like certain games like that, you just kind of doing your thing, and it's gonna take a lot of like traveling and looting and things like that. certain games like that, I will be like, yo, I'll buy that on my Switch because I can see me just kind of like sitting in bed and just kind of grinding out the little stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I would like for them to make it powerful enough so I don't lose so much graphical fidelity. Give me give me I don't even need the 120 frames to be able to support that. All I need is 4K 60 is the standard now. Be able to
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
games at 4K 60. Give me that, and also give me the option as well to to be able to run. Like I said, if I want to lose some graphical fidelity, okay, that's fine. But give me the option to be able to run like a lot of games without losing quality. And if they do that, we're good. And like I said, and also OLED. Nowadays, OLED is a must. I feel like regular LCD, like LED or LCD panels, are not it anymore. OLED is where it's at as far as
Gotcha.
you getting a better picture quality,
Yeah.
and also be able to display darker darks and stuff like that in your display. So you get way better graphics with having OLED. So it just looks way better. So yeah, keep the OLED. Don't get rid of it.
I got you.
And
All right.
we
All
should be
right.
fine.
All right. Well, I want to just kind of close off with some of my opinions. Somebody who doesn't find that much interest in a Nintendo as much as I used to in the old days. It's 7 years old, and a lot of stuff what Claudia was saying is very on point for the most part. It would be nice to want to have it, like to have that for somebody like me who's seen it all with gaming. When something excites me, and you guys, if you know me, I get excited. When I'm into something, I'm into it. Like I'll dive deep into it. So it would be nice to have that handheld feeling and be able to just bring it around. An old man bringing out a console around, just silliness, like hanging out and then like taking a moment to play or whatever. If I'm staying at somebody's house visiting, I want to before I go to bed, I can jump on for a little bit and things like that. I think it's convenient. For me, I just want cross progression on every game. That way, if I knew that every game had cross progression, I would automatically buy a Nintendo Switch, even if it's at 720, so that I can play a little bit of the game that I'm grinding out right now and then go to sleep, wherever I'm at, or on the plane or train. And that's kind of what I think they, not they, but every studio that's making games for them should think about and say, you know what? I'm going to be able to benefit and profit because they'll buy it on the PlayStation when they want to play for real. And then they'll buy it on the Switch when they're on the go because they can cross progression it and just upload their file. And a lot of games are starting to do that. Valhalla actually, Cloudy had that cross progression, and I actually was playing on the PlayStation 4 in my room when I laid down a few times because it was such a grind. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me go back and stream. And I'm streaming and it's like back and forth. So it's nice.
It'd be nice if they had, even if they supported, like say, and that's a nice point because it would be nice even if they supported cross progression, in the sense that even if I buy the game, let's say I wanted to buy it twice, right? I'll buy it for my Switch because I want the port to be able to be portable, and then I want it for my PlayStation 5, right? Because I want the full power and performance from the game, right? I say, okay, maybe this is a game I really love, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it on both consoles. That's what we're gonna do. And then what happens is that if they allow us to be like, okay, I'm gonna play some of the game on my PlayStation, but then if I want to go portable, I just bring my Nintendo with me, and because I own that same game, I can pull up the file in some way and be able to continue my gaming on my Nintendo Switch, let's say, right? And
it's doable.
But I feel like that will be really good from a quality of life, right? But it'll also be good for a business standpoint too, because it's gonna allow people to say, you know what, they're gonna buy the game twice, right? If they love the game, they'll buy the game twice, and they'll be able to have that portability together with having the fidelity, the performance, and then Nintendo can kind of figure out a way to market that to their advantage to sell more Nintendo consoles, which will allow them to sell more exclusive content for the Nintendo. Right?
For sure. No, and that's what, like I said, it exists, and I've used it in plenty of games, and I think that would be a way that I would want, because then all of a sudden I'm playing a lot of games on the go because I know that I have my save file. But I'm not going to rebuy a game for Nintendo Switch when I know I can care less about actually playing on that thing often. So it's a complicated conversation. But anyway, everybody in the comments, feel free to drop what your thoughts are about this discussion. There's no wrong answers here. Whether you think it's fine the way it is and you want to play 720, 30 frames per second, 20x, resolution with 30 frames per second games for the rest of your life, or you would like 4K 60 frames power at least for the new system when they announce one. And yeah, we'll see what's up. I'm sure Cloudy will get hyped about some of these Nintendo games that are coming, and we'll talk more about it in these videos in the future. Hope y'all enjoyed it. See you in the next one.